Hello everyone, this is Lucy05 and welcome to the Comic Book Central Toy Review. And today's review, we're looking at the 2010 release by Hasbro of the Iron Man 2 action figure review. And today's action figure review, we're looking at the comic series number 31 of the Titanium Man. Now I got this figure straight from the toy department store that cost 39 ringgit and 90 cents. Not too sure why they still haven't reduced the price yet. Saying that you're going to pay that price for a sort of 4-inch figure is kind of expensive, but it's still worth it. This is really beautiful action figure. First off, the front part of the packaging itself, you've got the Titanium Man action figure, and on the side itself, you've got the snap-on flame blast that looks like a flaming fireball. And at the bottom, you've got the 3 armor cards. You can swap around with the other Iron Man 2 action figures that came along with the armor cards to create this weird amalgamation armor that looks kind of silly. Hiding behind the action figure itself, we got the base stand, we can see there. Now at the back of the packaging, you got the image of the Titanium Man fully equipped with the snap-on flame blast. At the top of the packaging itself, you got the biography for the Titanium Man. Now on the side here, you got series number 28, the classic red and gold armor for Iron Man, except the face mask itself has 2 pointy foreheads. Series number 29, the Guardsman, worn by Kevin O'Brien. And at the bottom, you've got series number 30, the Iron Man armor, after the Silver Centurion armor got blown to pieces by firepower. I already babbled long enough. I know you guys been wanting to see this. So let's open up this packaging so I can molest the toy. Be right back. And we're back after removing the figure and the rest of the stuff out from the packaging. Now let's take a look at the base stand. Now I'm not going to complain about the base stand again because I already did that in the last 5 videos. So let's take a casual look on the base stand itself. You got the base itself and there's a peg there to fit nicely at the bottom of the figure's heel. You can see that. Next we take a look at the base stand where there's a 3 slot for you to slot in the 3 armor cards. You can actually swap around with the other Iron Man 2 figures that came along with the armor cards to make your own weird amalgamation of a, well, armor made from other armor parts. Here we have the snap-on flame blast, which is a clear translucent yellow plastic which fits nicely on the figure's right fist, and only right fist, like so. Looks very nicely done. Next, let's take a look at the figure's paint job. I'm quite impressed by this figure's paint job. There's no paint smudges anywhere. It's really well done. And at the bottom of the boots itself, the thrusters is also painted. The palm itself is also painted. Very nicely done. And the visor is painted in the, well, same kind of colors as the bottom of the thrusters and the palm itself, with yellow and orange paint job. It looks more comical style compared to the back of the packaging, and I really wish it's actually painted in black or at least dark green. This figure itself has been painted in a dull green color, which is really nicely done. The gray parts is also well done as well, very nicely painted. Now the sculpt of the figure itself is quite good. It's very nicely done. I really love the oversized shoulder pads here. And the back of the figure shows the nice spinal column. The legs itself is also well done itself, especially on the inner parts of the arms and legs where all the bands are shown. Very nicely done. Bottom part of the boots itself is also quite nicely sculpted, especially on this soles of the boots itself. Very nicely well done. Torso itself is also quite detailed, and also at the head itself. Now let's take a look at the articulation. The articulation of the head itself can only swivel left and right. It doesn't move the head up and down, which is a little bit disappointing, but like most Iron Man 2 figures, it tends to do that. The shoulder pad is a bit limited when you try to move the arms back and forth. The arms can only move this much, which is kind of disappointing. I really wish that the bottom part of the shoulder pad is much more shorter, a little bit more shorter, so he can move the arm a bit more further up, just like at the back, like so. Arms can also spread this high and bend the elbows this far and go left and right. It can't turn 260 degrees because due to the excess here. However, you can also turn the elbow 360 degrees. The wrist can turn 360 degrees as well. The torso is the best part of the entire figure itself, because you can actually turn 360 degrees out of this figure. Very nicely done. And pivot a bit forward and backwards and go side to side. Very nicely done. Now the hip joint is something I really don't like, because the peg is aimed at upwards rather to the sides. So you have to twist the ball joint and sort of try to actually pose the figure. And the problem with the ball joint itself, you notice there's the joint itself here is noticed, but you will also notice that the figure's legs is spread way far apart. It can still stand, but it looks pretty damn weird when he spread his legs way too far apart, because you can't close the legs all the way in. Then I realized that the ball joint, you have to twist the entire ball joint to one side, and then you can actually have the legs enclosed, because the ball joint on the other side itself, there's no joint as shown here. So with the ball twist to the other side up into 180 degrees, he now stands more normal rather than having the legs spread way too far apart. You got the swivel tie, and the legs can actually bend this far. And then you have double jointed knee, but it doesn't bend all the way, as you can see. It's just limited to this position. And then the ankle is quite nice. It's not hindered in any way, as you can see here. The ankle can pivot upwards, downwards, and turn 360 degrees. Very nicely done. So if I'm gonna give a rating on this figure, he is actually really nicely done for a comic version of Titanium Man. I really love the paint job. I really love the sculpt of the figure itself, and I really like this as well. I really wish they package him with more of this snap-on effects, like maybe he's shooting a laser. That would be nice. This will be a nice touch. And I really wish that the visor is actually painted in black rather than this orange yellow visor that is gone on, because it doesn't have that being shown in the comics. I never actually seen a Titanium Man in the comics with a orangey yellow visor. But if I'm gonna give a rating out of this, I'll say I'll give him a 9 out of 10. Despite that the ball joint on the hips itself is a bit of a pain, and the shoulder pads is actually obstructs the movement on the arms itself, the entire figure looks absolutely amazing, and I really love the majority of the articulation for this figure, especially on the torso joint, because it actually has a torso joint, unlike, I don't know, movie version Mark 1 Iron Man, or even comic version War Machine, which he can't even turn his torso joint. So 9 out of 10. Thank you all for watching. This is Lucy05, and I'm signing off.